It's time for the shop report with
Barbershop Jay.
Welcome, sports fans, to the Shop Report special presentation of the Turnbuckle. I, of course, am your host, Production Jay, and my guy who is on the road right now. Actually, if you heard it or seen anything from my 48 hours, I've been in Boston, Austin, Chicago, and now I am back at the house. So, but Gully, where are you actually? So we'll just dive right into it. My guy from the CO Lumbus, who is now somewhere else, D Gully. What's happening?
Hey man, everything's happening. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am currently on the road. I am still in Ohio, but I'm headed west to take a little trip, spend a few days in Western Kentucky.
There you go. Where about for those that are unfamiliar? I'm familiar with Eastern Kentucky.
Paducah.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, no. Surprisingly, yes, I am familiar with that.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, we got a lot to dive into that we want to gain not only our thoughts, but also yours as well. Of course, there are many of you tuning in right now. I mean, the numbers are crazy, and we greatly, as always, appreciate that. So by all means, don't be a stranger. Doors, as our host always says, walk-ins are always welcome. So by all means, let us know your thoughts on this. We're going to dive right in, Gully. This past weekend, we had none other than Money in the Bank, which is supposed to really kind of be our little bit of our preseason kickoff, if we wanted to talk, or maybe our week one. First of all, how do you feel about where I'm going with that? Do you think that's accurate?
It should be. It should be because it should have been, but I guess that's a bit too foreshadowing.
Okay.
But it should be the kickoff to the next. When you talk about those titles, when you talk about the title chase, when you talk about the number ones, Money in the Bank should start that off.
Absolutely. And speaking of Money in the Bank, we'll dive into our Money in the Bank men's match champion, Drew McIntyre.
Man,
go for it.
Congratulations to Drew McIntyre for winning Money in the Bank. Congratulations to him for actually to everybody. That was an incredible match. Andrade and what's my man name? Oh, those spots back to back. Those successive spots. Everybody had their moment to shine, and it was truly a sight to see. Because I mean, everybody did. I think at one point in the match, everybody made a case within the match, but actually got in the breach, and I think they made a significant case. So it was good to see. I enjoyed the match. I like to see that Drew McIntyre. He's relentless, right? And he saw the opportunity and he took it. in the words of one John Madden on Madden NFL '94. Uh, but yeah, so it was great for him. Great for him. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can pull this up because am I understanding this correctly? Was he suspended?
Yes, he was. He was suspended indefinitely based off of from actions that he took at the post show. I don't think it was the scrum, but it was the scrum. But it was a post show. Yeah, it's a post show activity. Uh, Him and Pierce got into a shoving match. Well, it wasn't much of a shoving match on Pierce's side, but McIntyre exploded, man.
Agreed. Matter of fact, this wasn't actually on the agenda today.
Okay.
And I'm actively, so because of that, naturally, I'm actively trying to find it. And so, first, I wanted to point this out and gauge your thoughts because of, Drew's current set of issues.
Okay.
Which will ultimately lead into Monday Night Raw this evening.
Yep.
But some of his issues, okay? So what this is in front of us on the screen now is simply Money in the Bank winners who couldn't successfully cash in dating back to 2007. Again,
Wow.
so we have, just for those in the audience, we have Mr. Kennedy in 2007, John Cena, who we'll get to as well, in 2012, Damian Sandow in 2013.
Yep, I remember that one.
Yep. Baron Corbin in 20. I'm sorry, I think Sandow 13, Corbin in 17, Braun Strowman in 18, Otis in 2020, Austin Theory in 22, and currently Drew McIntyre.
Now, hey, does it say when look at that graphic? Does it say who they tried to cash in against, or it just shows the year and the year of the attempt?
It only shows the year in failed attempt.
Okay.
And so my thoughts, or better yet, I wanted to gauge your thoughts on this, because look, there's definitely some extremes as it pertains to this grouping here.
Okay.
But what does this say potentially about Drew McIntyre if he were to join this list?
Nothing really, because you've got legends, and then you've got guys that had a moment. You got Sandow on that list and John Cena. You see what I mean?
So it doesn't concern you at all that if we were to look at it by percentages and say many of them are not first ballot WWE Hall of Famers?
No, that don't concern me at all, because because of the story that I see being unfolding from Drew McIntyre. This doesn't concern me.
Okay.
This doesn't concern me one bit. I know that Drew is a major player in I think in the story that WWE wants to tell right now, and you know what I mean, in its history. I trust that he is, and because of that, I'm not swayed that he didn't cash in his Money in the Bank. It to me, it should lead to a more satisfying payoff. Now,
it should. Keyword should.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, it should. Yeah, you're right. Keyword should. But what has happened is this actually, if we want to talk about it, it actually helps to create the heel in CM Punk that they really want to try to create.
Mm, mm. Well, and we'll get to him, but before we do, our first tell me you did not just say that
Yep.
belongs to John Cena,
Mm.
who, of course, is made headwaves and headlines. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was breaking the moment it was announced across your main media outlets. And so not just within kind of that wrestling inner circle, if you will, but
Right.
so of course what he did say is this is going to be his last hurrah in it, by paraphrasing, of course. He is going to be hanging it up at the conclusion of within basically a calendar year. And so, Gully, how do you feel about John Cena? Does he get another title run? I mean, there's a lot to kind of break down.
If you could put that belt on The Rock from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania 2013 as a
Hey,
part timer,
real quick. No, I do want to. I want to make sure that these guys get their due. We greatly appreciate it on your end as well, and naturally, want to definitely make sure we shout out the South Bronx. That goes with with absolute just the biggest of honors and salute to be alongside you guys as well. And we'll definitely, by all means, stay tuned with us and stick with us. We'll be doing the same as well. But go ahead, Gully. The floor is
yeah,
yours.
absolutely. I appreciate it. Yeah. The if John Cena could win the title from a part timer in The Rock, who got the belt from a hot CM Punk in 2013 to carry to WrestleMania, I think there's one last setting of the sun um, for John Cena. I would like for him that it would be cool for him to have that belt one last time and to do some numbers with it, because I would say if any part timer deserves it, if the universe still is okay with it, considering we've seen Goldberg with it, Brock with it, um, then Cena's a guy who deserves it. Having enough time away from that number one spot for us to truly appreciate what he did with it when he was there, like the pop that he got from announcing his retirement, the enthusiasm and the support from the fans, understanding that they're gonna see him one more time and this will be it for him. I think for him to have a marquee matchup for that belt and win it, to have another title run, whether it be brief or whether it be a long standing one, would be cool. Like, dare I say, could he be the one to drop to Cody Rhodes that Cody Rhodes drops it for? That actually wouldn't be a bad idea. I can see him Cena surprising and beating Cody Rhodes for that title, relieving it from Cody. And the reason why is because if you have a guy who's quote unquote a part timer, or he's on his last run, him having the belt, him walking in the ring one more time as WWE Universal Champion, relieving Cody of that mantle for a moment, allows you to create a new narrative with Cody that doesn't require him to have the belt to do so, and he doesn't drop it to a guy that in doing so, he would lose steam. Like, for example, if Cody was to, for some reason, drop it to Solo Sikoa, what would it do to Cody's brand? But if you say, all right, look, we're going to drop it to a Hall of Famer. We've seen this several times before. It doesn't interrupt or completely take the momentum, suck the momentum, or zap the momentum, if you will, from the guy that's going to be staying around. So Cody dropping to Cena for Cena to have one last time to challenge to be the challenge for guys to topple wouldn't hurt Cody's brand at all. And then it would allow perhaps the development of a mature foe opposite Cody for the belt. Let's put it this way. Let's say we get a Cody Roman Solo triple threat sometime next year, or a Cody Roman match for the title where both of those guys enter in as challengers. So they both have the same edge, the same edge and the same desperation, right? That would make a compelling match, because a guy like Cena, has the belt and he's doing this thing with it. Maybe having one last hurrah with it with Randy Orton or AJ Styles or maybe another up and comer, or a Gunther. Oh, Cena Gunther. How about it, right?
Oh, well now, okay. I'm gonna stop you there.
Yep.
And we're gonna take our first break of the evening. Again, I want you to ponder this: who would lose the momentum, and who would be the most formidable?
It's Kay Cunningham, and you watching the Shop Report.
I'm Army Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report.
There's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Oh, you're Jay Knight, you're watching the Shop Report.
It's Braxton Key, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Edwards from Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
All right, just like that, we are back. And so, Gully, I'm going to ask you. You mentioned a momentum killer, and we mentioned in the past that there's a few guys that have thrown their names into the hat. AJ Styles, Randy Orton, now John Cena, that have said, I would like one more, to do my best Christian here, one more match, or at least in this case, one more title run. Who does, with this announcement, who does this hurt the most out of potentially some of those names, and not just those that are in the twilights of their career, but those that have been essentially putting in the work currently?
See, there are only a few guys that I see in the Universal title picture, and I think we all know who they are. So, Cody, Roman, eventually it's going to be Gunther, but I don't know who else right now. LA Knight, I wanted him to, but I don't think he's arrived just there yet. So it's not too many that can be hurt I don't. There's not too many players whose momentum would be. There's not momentum to be hurt right now because I only think it's about three guys. The other guys that conceivably make sense for the for the universal title picture are all guys that are nearing the twilight or that are in the twilight of their careers. They're in the sunset. Randy Orton, John Cena, AJ Styles. Who am I missing? Right? Well, now the one outlier is Roman Reigns because he's taking a well-deserved break before he jumps right back into the world title picture, right back into the universal title picture. So I don't think it hurts too many. Like I said, am I missing somebody?
Look, I could potentially throw some outliers.
Like
Right?
who?
I mean, you didn't mention Randy, and he again is on record of saying I would like to do this. AJ, of course, has gone against Cody now and more. Has done so more than once.
And that's my concern. They botched that. I feel like that's been my concern. I think I said that on more than one occasion that somehow or another, I don't know. I feel like so much energy and time was used on finishing the story at WrestleMania that where I said the WrestleMania should have been a chapter in Cody Rhodes' story, it seemed like it was the finishing of it because AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes should have had a well-deserved sustained program. If Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton, we had to see that for 4 months or 5 months. We certainly could have saw it with a better built superstar like AJ Styles compared to Jinder Mahal versus a Cody Rhodes. You can pick who. You get what I'm saying? You can pick who's the AJ Styles or who's the. You can pick who's Randy Orton in that narrative. But my point is, that should have been the program we should have seen. We should have seen that type of feud. Or we should have seen him battling with LA Knight in these months. Him going back and forth with the bloodline makes no sense to me because none of those guys are ready to be a WWE Universal Champion. And WWE knows it. We know that they're going to be, just like if we go all the way back years ago, we knew that Roman Reigns was going to be the guy, but Vince decided to put that on him way earlier than the fans were ready for it, and they booed him to oblivion. And sort of, I think, altered his career path, which, if I digress a bit further, was actually pretty remarkable for him that he survived it. Because the fans buried him. I think the universe buried him because he was anointed as a guy before he was ready. When either Seth Rollins or the now John Moxley were the guys. So my point in saying all that is Cody and AJ or Cody and LA Knight should have had a program running this time. That should have been the next story. The Bloodline had other things to do. The Bloodline should have been going after Jey Uso, in my opinion.
Should Cody turn heel?
How does he?
Well, I think with
you see what I'm saying?
First of all, he was pinned by Solo Sikoa.
But how does he turn heel? How? How does he turn heel?
Well, he said it in his name himself. I was speaking of John Cena, and that's why I'm bringing this up here. This is the never give up Cody Rhodes, and that unfortunately does not fit as you've stated on more than one occasion, the American nightmare Okay, that's more like what's pinned on his chest, which is Dream.
Right? No, you got a point. That's what I'm saying is, but you just pin Cody at a pay-per-view in the main event. You got a main event victory on Cody. So we just gonna forget that and then just have him go heel versus John Cena? You follow what I'm saying? Like our WWE, the universe's memory is not fickle.
Right.
Much as they like to try to make it. So my point is, how do you do the job for Solo in a main event, but then proceed to make a heel turn on Cena? I personally would like that to happen, but but now you've interrupted it again because he shouldn't have got the pin. He should not have. Cody and them should have got the win at Money in the Bank. If you're going to have Cody become heel, which I like the idea. That is the point. American Nightmare. That is the antithesis. You can play right into it. They can still both kiss the babies and hug the fans, and then there's a case of who's really authentically about it. Or is this just Cena's thing to do because he's running out of steam because he's got old legs? Or is it really me who's out here really doing the work? Because I've always done the work. And I've always done it even when I didn't have the camera shining on me. Ha, ha, ha. You get what I'm saying? Like, that has legs. Double J, what you said, that has legs to have Cody become a heel, become an anti-Cena, become the American Nightmare. How do you do it now?
And so you're absolutely right. And again, it starts with this feud. First of all, how many kids does Rikishi have? My goodness, the guy was busy.
Man.
And so, hey, definitely, no shame in his game.
Right. Right. None at all.
But nevertheless, I love that we have teams now, but that kind of leads into where, what we have. I feel like with this storyline collectively, like we're going to have to run into some intersections here very quickly now that we're past Money in the Bank. Like, Gully, I know you hated the idea of triple threats, and especially as it came to 6-man tag team matches. But unfortunately, with what you're saying,
I don't like triple threat matches for titles. Give me the triple threat for the number one contender. Give me a fatal 4-way for a number one contender. I don't like a triple threat for the belt.
I have a feeling we're already there.
Yes,
it's going to start with the heavyweight title. We'll get to that this evening. With what's unfolded with tonight's Raw, which, oh my, again, Miss Salva has commented a spoiler for those that are on the meta side. If you haven't watched tonight's program, I will refrain from showing it for the live audience until we reach that point into the show. But if you guys are on the meta side and Facebook specifically, that will be visible. So, but yeah, I think we're unfortunately headed at a gigantic intersection, which is too many cooks in the kitchen. And I'm not referring to the bloodline. I think that's great.
Okay.
I'm referring to quality for this belt hierarchy that you have continued to beat into.
Because it is, and it is. I think you just like to debate me because I think you're just being anti just because. Okay?
I think I'm going to make a shirt that says "Make all belts matter again."
They all do, but they all do. But there is an importance to having a mid-card belt, such that when a mid-carder with a belt does carry that belt with such an esteem or does have a performance that punches above its weight. So when the mid-carder, like Randy Savage, who wasn't a mid-carder, when the mid-carder or like Ricky Steamboat, so when Ricky Steamboat and Savage have an all-time great match at WrestleMania 3, you then understand that, okay, these guys have graduated from that because we put them on they're on a part of a card to get the fans warmed up for the main event. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I thought I asked you this again. I thought I asked you this before, but I'm gonna ask you this again.
Sure.
You name me right now, U.S. Championship, Intercontinental title. Name me a main event match that you would place where you would place those titles in the main event over a world championship, over a world heavyweight title or universal title championship. You get what I'm saying?
Out of any?
Tell me right now, you U.S. champion, current U.S. champion, and current Intercontinental champion. You tell me you can make a main event match that you would see over Cody Rhodes defending that belt against somebody and Damian Priest defending the belt against somebody else. You can make an Intercontinental or U.S. championship main event.
Sure.
All right, bet. Do it.
I'm going to say... Oh.
Exactly. Come on.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What if I started with Cody Rhodes?
What you mean?
Well, he himself, as I've stated, I could be wrong, and this is what our friends, I'll say friends, so they don't rip me apart. You know, kind of like Scar, I guess, Lion King.
Yeah.
He has yet to complete this dream run of his, as you tried to say, chapter closed or end of story, whatever. Nope, he still is short of one belt, and that is the U.S. Championship.
All right.
That was why, you know, again, at Crown Jewel, I was completely perplexed as to why that belt was off the table, why he should have been Cody 2 belts and not just in some rhetorical, funny-looking one, or the Mama Rhodes belt, for that matter.
Because he would have been Cody 3 belts, actually.
Right. And so it should have been on the table. I get it that SummerSlam with Logan is likely going to occur in some capacity.
Yep.
But this is what we're missing. So if I were to create a quote-unquote dream match, well, first, I would actually take your champion and make him this champion, which would actually benefit because he's never won said championship before.
So wait. Effectively, you need to put the current Universal Champion into the Intercontinental or U.S. Championship match to do so.
Well, no, wait a minute here. No. It's not about how I did it. It's that I could do it.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. No. If all belts are equal, if they all are equal, tell me the main event match that will be a better match than the world or universal champion defending their title. Like, understand what I'm trying to say.
I am, and that's why I'm suggesting that, yes, I would have to insert your current universal champion.
Then you can't do that. But you can't do that because effectively, what I'm saying, this is why This is why they're mid card belts. This is why they're elevation belts. They're mid card belts. Listen, when Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat had the match to end all matches at WrestleMania, it was a
Listen
shocker.
to that title.
It was a shocker. When Randy Savage, the reason why it was a shocker is because that match was so well put on. It was not expected to. It as good as it was. It was. I don't think it was a realistic expectation that it would be a bigger event than the World Wrestling Federation champion defending his belt against the eighth wonder of the world. Like the marquee was set for Hogan and Andre the Giant. That still is a massive, massive match. The idea that a storytelling match such as the Ricky Steamboat Randy Savage match, and that's the first example that comes to mind. I'm sure there might be others, but that is considered simply an anomaly when you consider the magnitude of who the main eventers were. If not in Hogan's case, certainly Andre the Giant's case. What I'm saying is, it's okay that the belts are mid-card belts. They should signify who's almost here, who's almost next up. But I'm telling you, man, if you put Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins for the WWE title in the middle of a card, in the middle of SummerSlam, and then you end the night with Logan Paul versus Chad Gable. All right, you better believe. Be ready to get for the offices to get eggs. At the very least, be ready. Be ready. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But again, we had Ultimate Warrior and
Yep.
Hogan. Creative Control Hogan himself.
Yeah, but what was that? What did that mean when that happened? He was next up. He had arrived. Once you had that belt at a certain point, you don't become a main eventer.
This was WrestleMania 6.
Exactly. And what happened when they realized that, you know what? Hey, while the future, despite what the future holds, hindsight is 2020, but the momentum of the Ultimate Warrior was undeniable. And he was like, yo, he ready now. And let's add, there needed to be somebody else in the main event picture because everybody else was older and aging out. There was nobody else in the main event picture except for Savage. Who else was there? Who else was there? Who else was there in 91?
So let me, but look at so I'm going to throw this back your way because of what you just said. Old and aging out.
Yep.
AJ Styles.
I'm saying that.
Randy
Orton.
Orton. John Cena. Arguably Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
Old and aging out.
Older and aging out. Yeah, at the time, right. I mean, we're talking about 30 years ago. So 37 at 30 years ago, 37 meant a whole lot than it does now. Remember, LA Knight is 40. He ain't even arrived yet. I think he's 39. I think he was born in 85.
And Veer Mahan has not arrived either, and he was coming to Raw a long time ago.
Man, you still own this Veer Mahan. You was upset, boy. You was upset about this Veer Mahan, man. What's the issue, bro? Tell me about it, man.
I'm not upset by it at all. I just think, again, you referenced Jinder Mahal. So if we're going to go down that road, then I'm going to get, we're going to go 3MB and everything else.
Right.
So
what I'm saying is, the in reference to like what the title landscape looked like in 1990, 89, 90, 91. Undertaker was brand new. I don't think they were sure of him yet. And it was Slaughter, it was Iron Sheik, And it was, who else was in that main event picture in 1990? Not even Bret Hart had arrived at the main event picture, though he was sure. I think he definitely was. He proved to be ready for it, but he wasn't there.
Sure.
Ric Flair wasn't in WWF at the time. He didn't come until like 91, 92.
Yeah, the youth movement. I mean, maybe you were getting towards Taker, and again, but to get that youth movement as a whole, they were changing, as you pointed out, right? This is how Savage ends up as an announcer for
Right.
a period of time. So you're absolutely right that that youth movement and the style, all of everything that came with guys like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, naturally were very different than their predecessors that look, the larger than life.
Right. The mountains among men, yes.
Yep.
So having that said, the Intercontinental Championship was viewed as the guys who were next up. Remember, my favorite Intercontinental champion of all time is Mr. Perfect. He was, I think it was injuries that got in the way of his next up title run. He and Bret Hart should have been battling for the WWF title. But, they battled for the Intercontinental title, of course. And so that was a foreshadow of what could have become for the work, for the WWF title. But again, that belt signified guys that were on the horizon, guys that were next up. You mentioned Ultimate Warrior. He was next up. When you said that, understand that once he became the WWF champion, he didn't go back. You didn't go back. Now you have guys that it's like, man, it was kind of weird to see, like, all right, AJ Styles, after having this run as WWE champion, a couple of titles with a couple of title runs as champ or Universal champ, whatever. Him winning an Intercontinental title didn't seem right. It was like, not everybody need a belt to have a real program to move merch or to elevate the prestige of the title. But if it's a guy who already won the WWE title, who already won the preeminent title, how does it elevate the U.S. title or the Intercontinental title to have it back on it again? It seemed like it's a sign that he regressing. I would rather him be in feuds that don't involve the belt, that can still do numbers and have great matches, than battle for titles that he's already eclipsed.
I mean, I suppose. So CM Punk, no chance.
What you mean, like to battle for like a Intercontinental title or U.S. title?
No, as the Universal Champion.
I don't know. See, I think he's gonna have. Yeah, I'm kind of in the I doubt it. I think the World Heavyweight Championship is good for him, but because I think what he wants, the thing he wants is to main event of WrestleMania, and he can do that with that belt. He can do it without having the Universal Championship. He can do it with that belt. He can main event WrestleMania with that one.
Hold that thought. We're going to come back right after this break.
Okay.
I'm Jordan Gudeman, and I'm the founder and CEO of Eddie G's Cookies. I was first diagnosed with a nut allergy when I was young. At the time, there weren't a lot of labeled items that said if there may contain nuts or there are nuts in the food, so my brother and sister and I baked a lot at home, and we enjoyed treats from mixes and things like that, but I noticed that it was not the same as what my friends were enjoying, and I started making up my own recipes. When it was time to pick a career, I decided to start a bakery so I could share my treats with everybody else. When I started creating my recipe, I was taking in all the things that I thought I was missing out on. a soft, chewy center, a crisp outside crust, and a taste that is just like it came out of the oven at a bakery. When I put all those things together, I had come up with a recipe for a dream cookie. Eddie G's Cookies only uses the finest ingredients. We have all natural flavorings, no preservatives, and every cookie is made in a nut-free environment. The best part about Eddie G's Cookies is that they can be delivered right to your door. You can share them or not. We won't tell.
All right, and just like that, we are back. As a reminder, special thanks to our sponsor, Eddie G's Cookies. Of course, always peanut, tree nut free, preservative free, individually wrapped, and shipped direct to your door. All right, Gully, we're gonna move on here but before we do, your final thoughts on John Cena. Does he take it from Cody? Does he take it from someone else? And when does he give it up?
Oh, hold on. I miss you. I missed you when you came back.
Yep. So final thoughts on this question as it pertains to John Cena in this aging out. Now that you threw that caveat in there, who does he get the belt from? And then ultimately, who does he relinquish it to? Because historically, we've seen that arm raising, that true passing of the torch. I brought up who Roman Reigns has defeated as it pertained to Royal Rumble winners, clearly making his mark on the industry.
Yeah.
Now, you're not going to waste John Cena's last hurrah, are you?
Nah. I don't think the champ right now, the only legitimate contender for Cody Rhodes' title to me is John Cena. So John gets the strap from Cody. And then as it goes along, does John do the job once more time to Roman? You know, remember, right? How many WrestleManias did The Rock and Stone Cold have? Right? Remember, it was that last one where Stone Cold effectively was done with in-ring competition. You know, he dropped the belt to The Rock, and these were guys that were kind of peers in a sense. The Rock had a few more years. The Rock had a few more years left as a main eventer. So these guys were effectively peers. John Cena and Roman Reigns are maybe a few years apart in that sense, but they've got history.
That they do, and so that'll be very interesting to see how that ultimately plays out, and who ends up being fortunate enough to put their name in history, probably at the very least at WrestleMania with John Cena himself. But with our current stars, and back to wrap up Money in the Bank, Priest defeats Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre.
And he defeated a botch. Watch how I say that.
Did he botch it, or who botched it? Was it really or is it fair to blame Damian Priest on the botch, or was it someone backstage? because the real MVP was the referee, of course. But there were a few botches that took
Yeah.
place.
Let's start with that one. Let's start with that one.
Absolutely.
I think in Damian Priest's mind, I think he knows instantly what he should have did was just kick out. Period. Just kick out.
Do you buy
Don't
the
wait for
stinger?
No, I didn't understand that one. I think that was I think that was a bit petty. Like I didn't understand. Like he had a stinger, so he couldn't. So that's why he kind of like so. Say again.
So essentially, it was the Mike Tyson. I broke my back, spinal.
Oh no! Or the Steve Austin versus Owen Hart. Like so, he was out of it, and so he really wasn't aware, and then he had to come back to it.
That's what I've seen reports of that thrown out there. I have yet, if anybody else in the comments knows with certainty or at least a little bit more clarity on if that was accurate or not. I did see that as an option, but everyone for the most part seemed in agreement that it was backstage that missed the cue to drop
that would
the
make
music.
sense. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, so that referee saved the. Well, see, that's the thing. That's what Damian Priest gotta have more experience. He'd have to have that in his back pocket. Like, yo, if the goal is not for the interruption, the goal is the pin is not supposed to happen. So Damian Priest, he would have to say, like, all right, I got to make sure the pin don't happen. The ref knew he had to make sure that the pin doesn't happen. So he sat there and looked right at Damian Priest not kick out and decided to call the audible that he did and just say he lifted his shoulder up. So he knew that the pin wasn't going to happen. He was not necessarily reliant on the music dropping. So he knew this pin can't happen. Now, I don't know if the referees are mic'd up. Are they mic'd up? Do they have an earpiece?
I believe so.
Okay. But even if he had the earpiece, the music was supposed to hit at the same. I mean, they're both at the same distance away from the entrance as each other. So Damian Priest and the ref both knew that that the entrance was supposed to, the music was supposed to pop or whatever else. Point being, the ref knew this pin is not supposed. You get what I'm saying? Two elements happen. Music hits, the pin doesn't go on, music hits, right? Those are the two elements that's supposed to happen. The ref's priority was the pin is not supposed to happen. It seemed like Priest's priority was the music's supposed to interrupt. You get what I'm saying? Those are two different priorities. So the ref played to the proper ones, like no matter what, the pin doesn't happen. I think for Damian Priest, if his priority is, yo, the pin is not supposed to happen, forget everything else, because we can recover everything else. Because let's say, for example, all right, so let's say Damian Priest does kick out at 2, even though they both were expecting the music to drop. What ends up happening to me, if that happens, is Damian Priest kicks out at 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then Drew McIntyre cashes in Money in the Bank. It looks much, much worse for Drew, certainly, because you didn't even let the match finish, and you interrupted yourself in it. But the integrity of the story is still intact for Damian Priest. It don't look like he missed the mark. You get what I'm saying? Self-preservation is the law of the land. So if I protect my brand, I'm kicking out at 2 and let Damian Priest look. And let Drew McIntyre look more foolish for interrupting himself, for making a triple threat where a guy ain't even weakened. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, but at the same time, if you remember the you have to leave stipulation felt like it was forced and out of left field, and now you add that in there. Because of that stipulation, you cannot have what you suggested, because then he would have to have not only lost the title, but then he would have also lost his faction prematurely.
Yeah. Well, no, what I'm saying is, but in reference to how Priest should have looked at it, I should have still just kicked out. Regardless. So
well, okay. No, now I'm with you. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. He kicks out, it solves all those problems.
Right. You gotta
okay. Now I'm following,
Yeah.
because again, to your point, well, but then like you said, then it contradicts the music dropping to begin with.
No, the flaw of the music dropping is one that creative could sell. That could be Damian. That could be Drew McIntyre is so incensed that he's losing focus. He's interrupting the match when he message. Here it is, a guy kicked out, so a guy still got life. You know what I'm saying? Seth and Damian are still battling. Drew is so reclaiming that glory that he's losing focus. He's going to interrupt the match before a winner has been declared. Nobody's weakened. Somebody still got fight left. Instead, it is a major bot. And it don't look like Drew McIntyre. He's the one that was supposed to hit. So now you got to peel the curtain back. You know what I'm saying? If Damian kicks out, he's good. Drew is losing focus and desperate, and I mean, then you still got the CM Punk, the X Factor, the heel turn that CM Punk is making, which he cost Seth Rollins a chance of competing at the title again. He cost Drew McIntyre the title, and Damian Priest is getting side-eyed now because Judgment Day couldn't help, but he got help anyway. You know what I'm saying? The dude's becoming everybody. He's got a turn on his back, and I love it.
Yeah. With that being said, speaking of targets, we're going to jump into this merch.
What it do, sports fans? It's your man BSJ from the Shop Report. And guess what? The shop is now open for business, baby. If you're on Facebook, go to our fan page, The Shop Report. Click on More, and then Shop to view all products. Or if you're on Instagram, click on the Shop tab to see all our products. I mean, what you want me to do? I'm selling merch here.
All right. And so by all means, I think the end is near. Is Priest a bad champion? I'm just going to ask you again. You asked me a question from a previous show, so I'm firing back. Is he officially a bad champion?
It's weird, but the World Heavyweight title picture has nothing to do with him as champion. You see what I'm saying? The story behind the belt got nothing to do with him. The story behind the belt is Seth Rollins is the dude. He got legitimately injured. He had to give it up. Drew McIntyre should be the guy. CM Punk keeps interfering. Tell me what. So Damian Priest is an opportunist that's trying to make his mark, but he don't have a marquee victory to show for having that title. So is he a bad champion? Unfortunately, he's written that way.
So you're blaming creative.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, and again,
Could he be a better champion?
Live as you see, our host from, of course, Saturday's show has plenty of time on his hands today. Somehow, I thought he was supposed to be busy on this night.
Right, busy
he
doing
is
nothing.
on the road. If you would have been on time,
Yep.
you would have heard that. And so, all right, Sami Zayn beats Braun Breaker.
Yep.
Surprised?
I am. I am. And I said as much. I said that Sami Zayn, he's got something about him. Like when I look at him, he don't have a definitive look. When I watch him wrestle, I don't see. There's nothing like he like Larry Bird, man. He just has a collection of intangibles that makes him that always gives him an edge, and it continues to surprise you. It's like, man, it ain't no way possible. But then after you see the way it goes down, then it only makes sense after the fact. It only makes sense after the fact that I think I've said as much. And that's exactly the way the match panned out. I'm like, yo, this is Braun Breaker's moment. Like, oh, okay, he elevated now. I hadn't seen as much of Braun Breaker on screen. So I didn't know how much that WWE does mention his lineage, does mention who his daddy is. So
well,
I was
shout out to Dre. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see that, Gully. He said, "True, that's a good comparison."
Oh, appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm glad that they do mention who his dad is and his lineage, but in a way to be able to let you know he ain't just there just because of that. He's a man all his own, and he's certainly built to eventually be a champion. Now, let me ask you a question. Since titles don't matter, or all titles are weighted equally, you prepared to see Braun Breaker win a World Heavyweight Championship or a Universal Championship within this calendar year? Could you see that possible? Why not?
Absolutely not. First of all, I think this is Gunther's World Heavyweight Championship. I think if there was any doubt, last weekend, just put that thing like a tomahawk steak at Salt Bays. Like, it's over. You might as well just go ahead and hand that to him now. But of course, we'll probably see that occur at SummerSlam. And so, as far as Braun Breaker goes, living up to the name within, again, we talked about Cody's potential heel turn and his story putting us to sleep.
His
Braun's,
bedtime
on
story,
the other hand, is far more entertaining and more of that up next. But in order to truly be up next, according to you, he would have to win one of these second-class belts mid-card.
Those mid-card belts, yeah. Because that's what they are. And there's no shame in that. You get to see him with a title, which firmly puts him in the mid-card, co-main event, mid-card, late-card, co-main event status, where prestige can be attained even for that title. All right, man. You know what? Because I'm about sick of you in this. Let me ask you a question. How much prestige did the television title have?
You know what? The Hardcore Championship had some.
It did. But I asked you a specific question. And look at the answer you gave me.
Now wait a darn second. Okay, we have countless UFC belts. We have
UFC
even
belts?
more boxing titles.
No, don't put UFC in that.
And the TV dinner championship.
No, you cannot put UFC in that. UFC has no, you cannot, because UFC has a champion in each of its weight classes. Are you suggesting that they have too many weight classes? That may be an argument, but respectfully, each weight class has its own champion. They don't do a whole lot of interims. And they do have that BMF title. They had that one like TV type title, that BMF title. But UFC has champions for each weight class. I don't know how many interims. I don't think they do very many interims. And what happens once you become a champion? Usually, you're gonna face somebody that is deserving of a title shot on the horizon. Let me ask you
this: how many? We're at UFC like 308 now. How many were not the heavyweight headliner or main event?
Quite a few.
We've had
quite a few
championships. Certainly co-main event.
Yep.
And so just where again, this is the world champion conversation. It feels like between us. You're telling me that statement can be applicable to multiple sports, but as it pertains to WWE, it's defined by a mid card. It makes you essentially lesser than, and I can't get behind that for that same reason. I have tuned in and watched different weight classes that are still deemed champions and are not deemed lesser than. We're not looking at Tank Davis or Stevenson, despite his snooze fest. They talked about the Cody Rhodes parallel. And yet we still view them as champions, and they move up and around accordingly. But we're not saying unless you took on Butterbean, then you're lesser than.
No, you're not lesser than if you are in a lighter weight class and you are in a lighter weight.
Canelo is going after everything right now.
Yeah,
and so you're telling me
everything
that
except for Benavidez.
That's going to be my title, mid card champion. Can Sami Zayn be a Hall of Famer without being a universal champion? Or better yet, I'll take him out of the equation. I think from an indie type of wrestling background, he certainly, like you pointed out with Larry Bird, who was naturally a Hall of Famer, no questions asked. But is Sami Zayn, maybe I should leave him in this. Can someone presently be a mid-card champion and attain enough accolades without ever attaining the Universal Championship? Golly.
Tito Santana?
How long ago was that?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Tito Santana? Can you not ever have a can you not ever have the marquee titles and still have a Hall of Fame career?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what do you remember most about the Miz's run? His Intercontinental Championship run or his WWE Championship run?
His run with Maurice is what I remember most.
This is a family show.
Right. It's Shop Report After Dark. But in all seriousness, he's had a number of titles. And yes, he was the champion.
Yeah. What do you remember most about his run? His run as Intercontinental Champion, which he's not my favorite, but that represents a time that I really wasn't watching wrestling. And for those who were watching wrestling as intently as I was, they're like, he's the Mr. Perfect for generation of people behind me, and I can respect that. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like our host says, you know what I'm saying? So so what I can tell you is his run as WWE champion is not remarkable, not memorable to me. But I'm willing to bet he probably had some great matches and probably got over some wins over some people that you didn't think he would have. But a bulk of his run has been giving the prestige to the Intercontinental title. It still is a mid-card title, but you can still be remarkable and memorable.
You are killing me.
Bro, all right, I'm going to ask. Okay, listen. So for the fans at home, let's play a game. Give me a main event match. Like the question I asked you earlier. Give me a main event match for the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title that will be better than a main event match for the World Heavyweight Championship or the Universal Championship. Right now.
Again, unfortunately, we would have to go to the 80s or early 90s in order to be able to do that. And that's because of a hierarchy, and I'm going to agree with you here. That was a hierarchy that was created by, I guess, Vince and maybe Cornette and others. So it doesn't mean, because again, I'm now pointing to very real facts, especially with brands like TKO involved. That something has to change. So speaking of something changing, we have some change heading on the horizon as well with this evening's events. Also our final Money in the Bank winner. And so we'll take another break here and then begin to dive into exactly everything that occurred this evening. Stay with us.
SK Cunningham, you watching the Shop Report.
I'm Harvey Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report.
My name's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
You're Jay Knight, you're watching the Shop Report.
Max McKee, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Edwards from Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
What it do, sports fans? It's your man BSJ from the Shop Report. And guess what? The shop is now open for business, baby. If you're on Facebook, go to our fan page, The Shop Report. Click on More, and then Shop to view all products. Or if you're on Instagram, click on the Shop tab to see all our products. I mean, what you want me to do? I'm selling merch here.
I'm Jordan Gudeman, and I'm the founder and CEO of Eddie G's Cookies. I was first diagnosed with a nut allergy when I was young. At the time, there weren't a lot of labeled items that said if there may contain nuts or there are nuts in the food, so my brother and sister and I baked a lot at home, and we enjoyed treats from mixes and things like that, but I noticed that it was not the same as what my friends were enjoying, and I started making up my own recipes. When it was time to pick a career, I decided to start a bakery so I could share my treats with everybody else. When I started creating my recipe, I was taking in all the things that I thought I was missing out on. a soft, chewy center, a crisp outside crust, and a taste that is just like it came out of the oven at a bakery. When I put all those things together, I'd come up with a recipe for a dream cookie. Eddie G's Cookies only uses the finest ingredients. We have all natural flavorings, no preservatives, and every cookie is made in a nut-free environment. The best part about Eddie G's Cookies is that they can be delivered right to your door. You can share them or not. We won't tell.
All right. And we are back. And so right away, diving into our final match. First of all, before we do that, I want to point out that Hall of Famers such as Randy Orton, his first title run was with the Intercontinental Championship. Of course, we've seen Gunther's run most recently, and now I think that's why Gully has ran away. And so we're going to take one more quick break, and then we will be right back after that.
SK Cunningham, you watching the Shop Report.
I'm Homie Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report.
My name's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Oh, you're Jay Knight, you're watching the Shop Report.
It's Max McKee, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Man, works at Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shock Report. Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shock Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report. Commander Brown, Detroit Original Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
All right, and we are back, and we're going to see here how we started tonight's Raw. And of course, that is with none other than Seth freaking Rollins and CM Punk. And so while we're waiting for our return, I want to see Drew McIntyre against Gunther. And next week, that has been announced, as well as a few other matches just to get everyone up to speed. We have Zoe Stark versus Dakota Kai, Sheamus versus Bronson Reed for obvious reasons, and again, the big return of the no longer suspended Drew McIntyre. So decent slate on the menu already. And so want to get everybody's thoughts. Sounds like to me, curious if CM Punk will be there or not in a week's time. And so again, with SummerSlam around the corner, I thought the suspension would be a little bit longer, but want to gauge your guys' thoughts out there as well as to everything that occurred this evening. Again, Tiffy time is on the menu. That was who won the women's Money in the Bank match. If you guys have been with the show for a little while now, you've heard myself at least kind of quietly, or at least slightly. I haven't been saying put her over a whole lot, or at least wasn't shouting it. But I think this is the first step in the right direction for her. If you recall, between Chelsea Green and suggesting she wants to bring the Divas title back, certainly an interesting thought. And then as far as, of course, Tiffy time, it'll be really interesting because, again, with how Liv's character has been so focused more on the revenge aspects of it, she's kind of forgotten about the championship, as that was aforementioned in a past show or two. Unfortunately for me, I want to see that thing cashed in. I do believe that she will get put over, unless if you guys feel otherwise, by all means, let me know if you think she'll go after a different title. But I do believe she may have a little bit of a short reign, because I think Liv in Mommy will ultimately be who takes us home out of those two, in a very big feud that is certainly going to runneth over. And again, as it pertains to running over, Seth Rollins kicks off Raw with CM Punk. Punk says he is the consequences to Drew McIntyre's actions, and ultimately cost him the opportunity to win back the World Heavyweight title at Money in the Bank. He also requested that Adam Pearce lift his suspension so that he can fight him. Which, so again, thinking of a week's time with Drew McIntyre returning, I mean, SummerSlam's only a few weeks away, but does Punk really need an introduction? Which leads to Seth Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins questions why Punk had to stick his nose in his business. And believe it or not, Punk actually apologized. It's almost like me apologizing. So I guess it means it can happen. And so again, Punk apologizes for screwing up his chances of becoming champion. But since it's Seth, he said he isn't sorry. I actually just pondered that statement. He apologized, but he actually isn't sorry. Huh. In addition, Seth says that Punk doesn't think anything is his fault, and maybe the dumbest smart guy he's ever met. Seth, of course, says that he could attack Punk right now, but his fragile little body couldn't handle it. And that when he is cleared to compete, he will be coming after him. So, Gully, this is how we kicked off Raw. A backwards apology that actually at this hour wrapped my head into a knot. And then, additionally, you now insert Seth Rollins into this picture even more. Now, I've already gone as far as to say on this actual program that the belt is Gunther's. And now I'm not so sure. What are your thoughts?
Well, Seth Rollins and CM Punk have an unlikely, unholy alliance. Seth Rollins will need Punk or Gunther or Priest or McIntyre to challenge for the World Heavyweight title
What
again.
in the ratatouille are we doing?
You see what I'm saying? He's gonna have to, he's gonna need them to do that. So imagine the next pay-per-view, the next time McIntyre is close, or maybe Priest is close to retaining the title, and then Seth Rollins comes in, curb stomp on Priest so McIntyre can win, only for CM Punk to then do something to McIntyre to keep Priest as champ, to further agitate the both of them, so that way when he's healthy, they'll both want CM Punk's head on a platter, putting CM Punk in a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight title, which I don't like, but then CM Punk will end up winning that title. As a heel, getting under the skin of both Seth and McIntyre.
Okay, so right away, I have a few kind of issues here. First, if you'd watched the segment, which that's why we start a little bit later, of course, for everybody, I don't think Seth had a long enough vacation.
Oh.
Meaning, like, I don't believe, like, I could have lived without it right now, because it's not confusing, not for me at least, but it certainly had enough legs with just the players that were already there. But secondly, the reason why I'm emphasizing that point is this didn't feel like acting.
That's right. There's real heat here.
For obvious reasons. The history between the two is there.
Yeah.
And so to your point about an enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right.
I don't really see these two kind of working out in that type of way, because we really could see them running a Punk versus Seth at SummerSlam to hold off kind of a Drew Punk until we'll say the fall, September or October-ish. And then a kind of building a triple threat for the world title in a year from now, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel if this was a Mania match and you give Punk the title in a strange roundabout way, right? And somehow Gunther has it as well, thanks to me. Just to add to the confusion. And so we're going to give it to Punk and have Rollins, we'll put him over at Mania.
Put Rollins over at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
To CM Punk do business that way. Could CM Punk do business? Could he do the job for Seth Rollins at Mania? I think CM Punk wants a Mania moment where he comes out on the top.
So then he needs to go against John Cena.
He does. He does. See, CM Punk already had the Mania moment where he did the job. He had one of the 10 best WrestleMania matches of this century is CM Punk versus Undertaker.
Oh, without a doubt. As a matter of fact, were you on record, or was it just me, or was it all of us that felt like he should have did it?
Yeah, I thought he should have been the one to do it.
I thought he was going to.
Yes, I thought he was going to be the one to do it. Everything about the backstage politics and all of it, it seemed like as if Undertaker would have been okay with having him do it. It would have made sense. The angle that they had, him having to earn, all the story, the narrative, everything added up to CM Punk being the guy to do it. I thought he was going to be the one.
If we fast forward to present day,
yep,
and that had been the outcome, would you feel any differently about it?
Feel any differently about CM Punk being the one? Like it shouldn't have been him?
Potentially, if that's how you'd feel. I mean, he took another shot at AEW tonight.
No, I don't think you have to keep going back to AEW. Like he don't have to keep doing that. AEW, AEW, they did it to themselves in the way that they went about releasing that footage and the reasoning behind it. He don't need to do no more because everything it speaks for itself. It certainly validates CM Punk's position. It made them look bad by doing that because he's no longer there, so he don't have to keep doing that. As far as everything that's transpired since then, if CM Punk had beaten Undertaker, I don't think he would have been disgruntled a year later and then leaving the company, right? I don't know that it happens this way. But there were other factors there. His injury, his medical diagnosis, and the subsequent and his treatment of it, or his treatment, his treatment and how he felt like the management handled that situation. Maybe that still does happen, even if he gets even if he gets the win over Undertaker. I'm not sure much of that happens because I think they would want to protect. I think they would be more apt to protect the investment that they made in CM Punk if they put him over as winning the streak. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting.
So I don't know. I think a whole lot happens differently. That being said, I would still say, like, everything about CM Punk in his reign up until that time, I don't know that I would have looked at it differently. Like, he shouldn't have been the guy to do it. I felt like Roman Reigns shouldn't have beat Undertaker at WrestleMania. I don't think that match even needed to happen.
But it did. It did.
That hurt the Undertaker more than it helped Roman Reigns. It didn't hurt Roman.
Whoa. Lois, this is not my Batman glass.
Yes, it hurt the Undertaker more than it, because here's why. Because to me, it damaged Roman Reigns' victory over Undertaker in WrestleMania 3 years after, or 2 years after Brock did it. It dimmed the shock of Brock doing it, because it was like, man, we would have never thought it would happen. Like, it'll never happen again. Right?
No, but okay. It actually makes me think if that was what was going to occur. There's two kind of, I guess I'm left with two thoughts on Taker's streak, which is, do we see another? And as it pertains to who he lost to, I'm motivated to say I wish it would have been Orton, because of the true legend killer aspect. And that's the thing. We're starting to see that with Roman. I referenced earlier in the show that his ability, if we were to put his resume up now, the fact of who he's beaten, again, it was no surprise at all that the torch was then passed to him. It will remain with him, and that's why our conversation about John and ultimately the aging out hierarchy that is around, and their relevancy and opportunity, for that matter, is vastly limited. But I would have loved to, maybe that's what we see, because again, Randy has been on. He lost again. So I'll just throw that out there. Again, he didn't get pinned, but he lost.
Right.
And meanwhile, Solo now, oh my gosh, Solo is started. Speaking of streaks, right? Not okay. I'm facetious here, folks. But now so what do you do with this group then, right? Because you don't like my idea of Mania as it pertains to Punk, because it very well could actually, now that you say that, it could put him right back where he started, which was on the unsettled side of things. And he's already what felt like semi-serious joke that he was locked into, in his best R. Kelly, I'm locked in the closet. And instead, which that's okay now, the royalties, from what I understand, go to the victims. And so where do you go with them? I'm kind of perplexed. I love the story and I love the possibilities, but it gets in the way of Gunther for me. And Priest, it is what it is. I don't want to say I didn't cheerlead for a different champion, but now I'm over it, and I think everybody else is too. But what do we do here with the World Heavyweight picture going into the premium live events that are really your mainstays for the remainder of the year?
Yeah, well, okay, so we have to resolve the idea that they put the title, like as I said earlier, they put the title on Priest, but the story of the championship has nothing to do with it. And the story of the championship got to do with the three guys that we think should have it. Damian Priest has not been able, or has done nothing to maintain this claim that he deserved to be there too. His victory in the match came because of a de facto triple threat. His victory to claim the title came because of a de facto triple threat. He's had, his whole thing is, I don't need no help, but he keep getting help. So it's stunting his growth as a true dominant force in that main event tier. Like, he should be one of those guys, but he isn't. The story about the World Heavyweight Championship is Seth was the dude, Drew should have been, CM Punk keeps getting in the way. And we haven't been able to, and nothing about the story thus far is going to change that. So once we get
best we can do.
Well, it's not the best we can do. It's what they've done. See what I'm saying? It's like, you could do better, but this is what you did. How do you fix this? How do you fix this? You get Gunther to win the title. He run through them all. And, you get Gunther to win it. Like, Gunther is a guy who, it don't matter if somebody help him win the title. You follow what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters to the fans if Gunther is the benefactor of the same type of treatment that Priest got. Like, so Gunther win the title, he might win it legit, right? Because at this point, nobody really has a beef with Damian Priest. That's the other thing. Nobody really has a beef with Damian Priest. Who really got a problem with Damian Priest? Nobody. Even Drew recognized that he saw an opportunity and he took it. All right.
Oh, gosh.
Right? Nobody has a beef with him. So if Gunther wins the world title, and then in the in the name of being anti and playing spoiler every time, let's say Seth is on the verge of pinning Gunther, and here come Drew to stop Seth from pinning Gunther, and Gunther ended up winning. All right, cool. That's cool for Gunther. He don't care. He gonna retain the title. This dude he's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. So he's part of a faction. You know what I'm saying? He was part of a faction. He good with it. You know, as long as I got the belt, I got the belt. Nobody can say nothing. People wanted me in this position, and I got in this position. If you guys can't figure out how to dethrone me, that's your problem. That's not mine. So I'm good if y'all want to keep fighting and keep ruining each other's opportunity to take this belt off my hands. I still am the guy. I still can be the champ, and y'all can't do nothing about it. So it don't hurt him.
So you think Gunther goes on a significant run?
At least long enough to go to WrestleMania. Maybe the World Heavyweight Championship is the belt that Cena goes after. Maybe it's not the Universal title.
You couldn't see. Well, that would throw off the Punk Cena almost nostalgia match.
How so?
Because you want Punk would want to be put over. Creative control Punk.
I think Punk wants to be put over at WrestleMania.
So
you want to have a main event. Well, he said,
but is John gonna want to go out Punk?
Well, here's the thing. Which was rather somewhat confusing to me in his retirement announcement. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna have the Royal Rumble 2024 will be my last Royal Rumble.
Right.
WrestleMania 2024 will be my last WrestleMania." But he didn't suggest that WrestleMania 2024 will be his last match.
Interesting. Yeah, leaving the door open for a one-off.
Maybe he is at some SummerSlam. Maybe he is at Survivor Series. Maybe he is at.
He'll come back for pay-per-views. I mean, that's box office John Cena.
Right. But still, no. But I'm talking about during the retirement run. The retirement run does not end at WrestleMania. The retirement run seems like it goes after that.
Correct. I understood it to be through basically the end of next year. Meaning he could show up. I mean, he wouldn't necessarily be rostered, I wouldn't imagine, to either SmackDown or Raw as a part-timer.
Yeah.
And so he could, I mean, look, where's Logan Paul?
Logan Paul is at the Performance Center.
On social media would know that. I got nothing. Hey, look, if he wants to invite me out, sure. You'll see Double J, Production J. Logan Paul. I'll do it. But no, we know it can be done, right? And I wouldn't be surprised, like you pointed out, to see some combination of either Punk versus Cena. It may not have to be Mania, but they certainly will be. I mean, Punk himself has said he wants one more match with John.
Yeah,
so,
they have some great matches together.
But these two who are on the screen now do not actually like each other.
Right.
So how can you keep a feud that is going to somewhat stall both of their own momentums even further? And then Drew McIntyre becomes what? Collateral damage for a year? He becomes Dolph Ziggler, Drew Ziggler?
Yeah, see, that's what I recognizing the things that I like and love and enjoy and interest me. I still recognize that there will be what I would like to see, what I think should happen, could create some conflicts and contradictions.
These are three hotheads, all right? And I didn't feature Drew's comments to Adam Pearce, calling him a bald expletive. Female dog, for those wanting specifics. It is the shop. Dark. Which in itself, suspension wise, though, you may have missed this. He does return next week, so that at least does that help you at all in the creative side of things? I thought the suspension would be longer, but am I surprised? I kind of, but not for the fact that he's coming back. My problem with this, Gully, is that you have these three chasing each other, and can we get? There's just the same way that I get tired of like Bronson Reed and running around.
Yeah. It's they haven't created the exit yet. Like, how does it end? You do it. I think the challenge is it's an interesting triangle twist that they have, but it does not have it doesn't have an exit strategy.
And it might.
What is the end game? Yeah.
It might. And we'll get to that, actually. But first, we had announced our main event for this evening, which is, can you guess who might Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan be in a mixed tag team against? Anybody?
Dirty Dom, Liv Morgan versus.
Oh, wait a minute. His dad and Zelina Vega, because there's no one else back there, apparently. So there's that. And again, there's a little it's kind of like ordering at a restaurant, and one of those where I'll go Coney Island and they already have the cake spinning, so you already know what the dessert looks like.
Right.
This one was, spoiler alert, was there, and Mrs. Alva, if you're still watching, she of course in the moment couldn't resist in letting us know exactly what that was. I already knew that was coming, but that's okay. And so we get to our first actual match, nearly a half hour in. And that, of course, was main event Jey Uso beating Dark Gable.
All right. Where is Wyatt 6?
Okay, so we just talked about us spinning our tires on the Rollins and Priest and Punk and Drew.
Right.
First of all, main event Jay has lost every main event he's participated in. Him and Randy Orton are fighting for the worst streak this year, as it pertains to PLEs. Yeah, no, I'm dead serious. So it was nice to see him pin someone, but look, we thought. We were the first ones to say a heel turn for Dark Gable.
Yeah.
And then now you get the Wyatt 6 where he becomes the sacrifice. This is the lamb to the slaughter.
Right.
I mean, with being dragged just in a PETA violation way.
Right.
But again, we're under new management, right? Fresh new sign and maybe a coat of paint.
Yeah.
And this feels like your bonus is a pizza party. He's used terribly. I thought for sure, dude, that we're going to see a Kurt Angle reincarnate. And then let him go against the Beast incarnate.
Right.
we had that, like, it would have worked because we've seen it, right? As you point out, like almost like the Simpsons have done it, but WWE has just in the past, kind of dropping the bucket back into the well, getting more water.
Right.
But now, let's be honest here. He's not going to make this the Wyatt 7. He's not. He's just going to continue to get curb stomped. Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
We know he's like, that's my problem with this, is that what was the point of the heel turn? Other than, like, what are you going to release Otis in whatever, Tozawa?
Right.
Gable was not holding them back other than in a fictional way. But they weren't holding him back either because he is on a free fall right now. When you go heel and you're still getting, like, the cowardly heel.
Right.
That's what we're doing? That was the best we could come up with?
Yeah, man. They got
the cowardly heel?
Yeah. Because, like, who does it benefit? Like, what does it?
It benefits the Wyatt 6, but it's not going to benefit anyone else that is involved with them yet.
Okay.
This is brutal. This is brutal for me.
Yeah.
As it pertains to him because he has the potential. I just rolled out the red carpet into how to almost get this guy above a mid card. If we wanted to go down, that road creatively. But just having him lambasted and, checking over his shoulder for the Wyatt 6. And look, the guy in the ring right now with him.
Yeah.
He's not invincible either. As I did a week ago, read their latest film.
Uh-huh.
They literally said those that have gone against their families will suffer the same fate. So but I think in his case, it depends how long they wait creatively to loop him back in with the bloodline story.
Yeah.
This is just brutal to me. And that's why I look to you sometimes to make some sense out of this.
Man, it's hard to because it's hard to you like you said. I mean, just to recap real quick, you turn Gable into a heel, you put him on a heel run, but then you have your anti-heroes antagonizing him. At the same time, he's a heel. He's a victim.
Dude,
so what do you do?
I feel like we're going to just take him off the television. Take him off TV.
Take him off.
He needs to be all elite.
Whoa. Who needs to be all elite?
Well,
am I hearing
going to have
right?
the Wyatt 6?
The Wyatt 6. Yeah, I can see that happening too, in not too distant future. The Wyatt 6 making some overtures. Because of the Yeet and the Wyatt, and yeah, I can see that happening.
When's Gable's deal done?
Yeah, that's the question. Let's find that out.
Those in the comments, by all means, again, hey, look, don't be shy, right? We won't hold you to it if you say 6 to 8 months. We'll run. You were off by a day. No, not that crowd. I'm this is one that look, I was not his biggest fan, but he has. If you made a career out of Kurt Angle, you could have gone a similar pathway with him.
Okay.
And you missed it. You missed it. You had the heel turn. It was perfect. But to have him heel turn to just cut off the dead weight, the anchor of Otis.
Yeah.
There was nothing there for me. And what? Oh, is he going to have some kind of kumbaya moment with the rest of the Alpha Academy, and they're going to go and defeat the Wyatt Six? No, they're not.
Right.
I feel bad for him. Is really what it is. I feel bad for him. And this is why I've told you, you brought up when this goes to Netflix, it's going to be a 2-hour program. I don't know if we're going to have time for vignettes anymore. If this talent pool is honestly this deep, then you need another show.
Yeah, you will. Because you can see many of the guys that are in line for something big, they have to hover because it's only a certain level of spots.
This feels like this is borderline. And out comes Bret Hart. And even he goes, what am I going out there for?
Right. Right. Right.
Like, what am I going out there for?
Right.
Just hearing that, though, honestly validated me. Love Bret Hart or hate him as a person. It did something for me when he himself was completely clueless as to what his role was in the grand scheme of that. At the
it's like, I'm going out there for. Like, right, what am I doing? Right, like, what I need to be out there for? Like, what are you doing? I need to be able to
tell you
have that
something
level
about
of,
Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, Bill Goldberg. Right.
How do you feel about that, by the way, though?
What's that?
That he was really out there, just like he was spearing the bleep out of them. Like it was an NFL tackle intentionally.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have somebody who.
He was that green, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, man. How do you get away with that for that long, though?
Because when you have a look and listen, when you have a look and it's working and you just sell a merch, bro, yes, nothing's a problem. If it's selling merch, it hides a lot.
Well, to throw Y6 on a T and let's see how it does. Right now, I don't know what to do with either of those two guys. Again, it's just I really specifically, I'm not even going to talk about Uso because in his case we know the pathway for him, but for Gable, I don't know. I think he very much finds himself kind of. Look, dude, we're at a stage right now where yes, I get it that there's a saturation of talent, but this is why, like, bring back a hardcore championship. Like, you have to do something in order to allow these guys to not just be getting destroyed for absolutely no reason. Like, save that for your NXT guys. He was the only main rostered individual that was laid out by them.
Who was?
Well, I think it was both of them. But certainly Gable, I saw him.
Wow.
that's why, like, all right, enough. I've had enough. Matter of fact, I've had enough talking about that. Speaking of people that nothing's going on with, look at this. Look at this image, dude. So
yeah,
this is Pete Dunne on the left.
yep.
Do you remember what his name was?
No.
You don't remember what Sheamus called him?
No. What did he call him?
When he was a part of his crew?
No, man, I'm drawing a blank.
Well, nevertheless, Big Bronson Reed beat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
And so once again, we thought at one point that there was going to be some kind of significance. This is all right. Gosh darn it. This is what I mean. We had Sami Zayn, Bronson Reed, and Dark Gable.
Right.
And that's all we can do now in a matter of like a month? Is Gable is the paranoid why you eat six? Like bouncy ball?
Right. Right.
He's getting pinned by Jey Uso. 10-minute intro Jey Uso.
Yeah, like something's not fitting. The math is not mathing. Yeah. They might need to bring another title.
I'm just. It's rare that I remember. So to answer your question, or my question was, Sheamus was calling him Butch. Remember?
Yeah. Okay.
So Sheamus comes and saves the day after Bronson Reed was just, going to town on him. And Pete, of course, pushed Sheamus away, likely for calling him Butch for as long as he did.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't know where they're going to end up here with that either. It's out of control tonight. I'm out of control. You help me, Gully. You steer the ship back on course. All right. And those in the audience, by all means, please help me as well, because I've reached a point in the show where I have lost my creative control mind.
Yeah.
I've lost creative control. I am out of control. Someone take the wheel here. I don't know what to make of that. Do you? With Butch?
Nah. Butch.
I could you know what? I could have more Pete. But are we going to put Bronson Reed back into the Intercontinental picture?
Well,
or is Larry Bird going to win another title? Because
Larry Bird's
in
gonna
terms
win.
of mid-card titles, if I remember correctly, the longest retaining was somewhere around 9-ish.
Nine. Wait. You talking about 9 defenses? 9 years? 9.
No. We had Gunther, of course.
Yep. Oh,
who just obviously said it for as long as he did. But otherwise, I mean, look, there's been some very irrelevant folks that have held that title. Do you remember oh man, what was that bro's name? Oh my gosh. Ooh, this is gonna bother me. Was it Zach something?
Zack Ryder?
Yes, there it is. There's a Zack Ryder reference, ladies and gentlemen.
Zack Ryder, my guy, Zack Ryder. I forgot what is his name now.
Oh man. All right, I'm going to the internet for this one.
Yeah, Zack Ryder.
Matt Cardona? Is this real? He's married to Chelsea Green. Well, hey, you know what? Salute to you. All is forgiven.
Oh man.
Shop Report After Dark.
Shop Report After Dark.
So well done to Zack Ryder. And
right. Yeah. All right. So yeah,
you want to do something with Pete and Butch or
yeah, see, I don't know what I don't know what the heck is going on here. Like when it comes to these guys.
Anybody in the comments want to take creative control?
Yeah, what do you do with this? This is like a big it's a big conundrum. Like it's a big
tell me what happens in a 2-hour show. Because obviously this would hit the cutting room floor. Butch. So we don't get more Pete and Pete.
No.
Great show, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. When it comes to this, it makes me care.
That's the thing. The only way that I personally can, I'm more vested in actually the guy that was doing the beatdown. As far as these two, look, I almost went out on a limb and said Punk should have retired with John Cena.
Yeah.
Am I there yet with Sheamus? I don't know. Like he's legend. I shared a beverage with him actually when I said I did that sweet thing and Joe Louis Arena, and then went down to the floor. There's a picture with me and that I think Hall of Fame referee now, and I got a chair that I think is in Cleveland. Actually, I think someone has it from the pay-per-view. And so nevertheless, I may have to look on trying to get that back. But I don't know. I think put him out to pasture too. They both could be NXT for me. Take the NXT product to the next level. Get these guys over there.
Yeah. I thought. Yeah. I wait a minute. We talked about this before. Bringing SmackDown Raw talent over to NXT.
Well, again, I think if you're going to make SmackDown a 3-hour program, it actually makes sense. And I do believe you'll see a roster shift, like the draft may be of larger value, but do you need to rebrand NXT at that point? This is what I mean about an additional show. Like, and this kind of bothers me because NXT, okay, if that's our Ultimate Fighter, and it's gotten good enough now. Well done, Sean.
Yes.
Where I would argue it's better than the Ultimate Fighter. And those guys can stand on their own. 100%. So if I'm at the top here and I'm looking at ratings and I'm saying, okay, we can absolutely, unless, of course, Vincent Kennedy McMahon decides to, or Shane O'Mac decides to get involved with AEW and then really put us under a Monday Night Wars all over again. Again, it's like getting attacked from France, and just weren't expecting it.
Yeah, this here.
I don't know where you take these guys. I could easily see them all shifting over to SmackDown, and that gives, I guess, more time for them for stuff like this. But you consolidate the program to 2 hours. It's hard enough for us to stay within a 2-hour window. How are you going to have a roster of 30 plus have any kind of relevancy? it under those parameters.
Yeah, I don't. So look, man, like you say. All right, let me gather my thoughts here. First of all, I gotta finish watching the NXT pay per view that they had, or premium live event. I'm sorry, that's the term now. The PLE that they had on Sunday. But from what I understand, is it's pretty darn good. Good enough that they don't need necessarily main level talent to come over and be enhancement. So Sheamus showing up at NXT. Uh, man, yeah. Somebody need a kayfabe injury and then come back when it's relevant again. That's how we slice this one up.
Kayfabing it, literally.
Yeah,
I love it. Speaking of
yeah.
what, remember that earlier what we talked about where do we go from here? And like Axl Roses, where do we go now?
Right.
I think this is where we go. Damian Priest tells Seth Rollins he's happy to throw their agreement out of the window. That took, 48 hours? And invites Rollins to challenge him for the World Heavyweight Championship again after he defeats Gunther at SummerSlam. And if there was any doubt, so now, okay. Look, I was like, oh, okay, this is a done deal. It's Gunther's belt then.
Right.
But now, under that caveat, which is, hey, I'll give you a shot at this thing, because Seth could look at it and say, you know what? I like my chances more against Gunther than I do you, Priest. I don't believe that would be the case, but because there's so many storylines, because we have Seth, we have Priest, we have Gunther, Punk, Drew, and they are literally in a blender. Is it fair to say that this is not Raw anymore, Gully? This is War?
Ooh, interesting play on words. Interesting harkening back to an era that there used to be chaos in that way. Uh, it's getting close to that. It's getting pretty well close to that.
Now that we have that stipulation, does that what other domino would need to fall in order for you to buy into that?
What somebody else emerging in the world title picture just for no reason, but with purpose. Like um again, we haven't seen Gunther actually insert himself yet. He's challenging for the belt. So imagine him winning, right? He wins. Everybody got a problem with it. Damian Priest got a problem with it, but Seth Rollins cannot challenge for the title again. Drew McIntyre gonna be pissed because that's my belt. I was supposed to have that. How you just come through and take my moment like I couldn't capitalize, right? Everybody, yeah, then it would be chaos. Like I think that's the one thing holding it back from being chaos.
Look, this is I don't know. I asked you earlier if if Priest is a bad champion. But under this context, couldn't he actually be deemed a great champion now? My question to you is Priest going to turn face, or is Seth going to turn heel?
Um, Sorry about that. Yeah, Priest has got to go face. Oh, you know what? You know what? What you didn't mention in terms of making this all-out war. If you happen to see, if you happen to recap Money in the Bank, you happen to know that at one point Damian Priest was prepping for this match, and he stated again, "Hey guys, I don't want no help." And when he did that, he looked right at Finn Balor, said, and it says, "Hey, remember, I don't want any help." If Finn was like, "All right, for sure," or something to that effect, but he acknowledged like, "You ain't got to keep telling me you don't need no help, even though clearly we've helped you already." But he did cut his eyes at Finn Balor, and Finn Balor returned the favor. So when we talk about chaos, that's your chaos here. That's your chaotic element.
Chaos theory, if you ask me.
Yes, it is. And then when you talk about Priest going face, certainly this would be the way. This would be a means to be able to do it.
Oh my gosh. That to me signals it all, that it absolutely is true.
Right.
I mean, again, there's so many options. And like you said, so you factor in, as you pointed out, I'm torn because of the extras that you mentioned that would, to me, make this this would be war at that point by having the additional feud of Finn Balor in there, of Mommy in there.
Yeah, see, yeah, go ahead.
No, by all means.
Now, I'm saying, yeah, if you add Finn Balor, right? He's got the tag title that he needs to. He got that tag title, great. But remember, we feel like, at least you and I, we feel like he's worthy of being back on this stage in singles competition, being a standalone superstar. This would be
absolutely
right. So this would be a great way to be able to. This would be a great way to reinsert himself into that role or into that category.
You could have mixed, or you could just have tag team. You could have a mixed tag team, but you could also have, again, a feuding Finn and Priest with some combination of Rollins, Punk, or insert Gunther, Drew in there as well. Dude, oh my gosh. Come on, Gully.
Yeah. So it's a crowded room. I tell you that, it's a crowded room. Battle Royal for the belt. That would be interesting.
Whoa. Have you? Okay. Has that been done?
Yeah, well, the Battle Royal. I mean, there was the Royal Rumble for the world title. That's how Ric Flair won his first WWF title, all those many years ago. and I could be missing others that happen later, but certainly it can happen. Um, it's easy to do for creative because I mean everybody who's in there feuding makes sense. Everybody has an axe to grind with several members, several other people in that room, so it does make sense. You can get a lot of steam blown off from there, and then uh, having a winner certainly moves that person in a position where you can keep telling the story that they're trying to tell, and then you can reset and start to refocus on others after after you got it after you've declared a champion. So it is extremely helpful to have a battle royal to just be like, you know what, y'all figure this thing out.
I love the sounds of that for every bit of the reason that I was referring to. So it'll at the very least be really, really interesting to see where they go, because I mean these outcomes will be almost super unpredictable. Um, I'm absolutely all for it because I'm over kind of the 3-year runs of Brock, right? Now
I'm not.
speaking of
You know what? Hold on. Wait. Say, I don't think, or I'm not necessarily over a long title run, but I guess it's a matter of who, right? So maybe I didn't want to see a Brock for 3 years. Um, I'm not. Yeah, but I think it's like, okay, let's say instead of Brock, let's bring up. Let's see what Seth could do, or what um somebody else other than the guy who's always been that. Brock has always been that type of guy, right? For as long as he's been around. So let's see if it's somebody else that can sustain it. Gunther, here we go, another Gunther match. Now y'all making me like him more and more. I keep saying every week. I keep throwing in this positive Gunther thing.
well, don't forget Kaiser.
Right.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's that, dude. But just keeping the players that are currently on the table, absolutely all for these possibilities. As the night progressed, of course, Braun Breaker attacked Sami Zayn, and he actually lost the match by DQ because he threw a chair.
Really?
Yeah. And Dragunov came out there. And so, again, this is to your point earlier. Just I'm on the Braun. It's Braun Breaker. Put him over on something. Put him over the moon. Like, I mean, or over the river and through the woods. You got to do something. Like, now is the time.
Yeah, he sent him to grandma house for sure. Yeah.
Right. And so, matter of fact, here we go.
Oh my.
Dude.
Yeah, I ain't through with you. Yeah, that's basically what he's saying.
Now, speaking of other individuals that we brought up a little earlier, the Judgment Day defeats Braun Strowman, The Miz, and R-Truth.
Wow.
Two things.
Okay.
So, one, it's wonderful to see Finn. Look, hang on. I feel bad doing it this way.
Okay.
Finn looks like he won something like an NBA title.
Yeah, he does.
But it goes to show how much crap that dude has gone through. And so I hope he ends up back in that mix that we were just talking about, because he had fallen off so far, right? And so again, glad to see them win.
Right.
And then I expect the Miz heel turn at some point. I don't know how far it goes, but do you think who's the better heel, Miz or MJF?
Oh, good question. I think MJF has quickly reached their same level. MJF can get you to hate him
Oh,
in
absolutely.
such a way that really previously, I think in a way that only the Miz could. Like perhaps, hold on. Come to think of it, perhaps maybe my refusal to name the Miz as the best Intercontinental Champion of all time, like my refusal to put him above, let's say, Mr. Perfect, is perhaps due to hate. Maybe I got a little bit of bias that I didn't really recognize it's showing.
Wow. Okay.
I have to acknowledge that. So the way he can get up under your skin, he talks as if he runs the place, but he don't. But really, all he really needs is an opportunity to show that he can, and then he seems to deliver. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? That is MJ. Yeah, that is MJF, and that's the Miz. Boy, oh boy.
So what happened after the Dark Gable loss? There was another tape, and that's actually what led to the pin. Actually, was the that one lady scared him, and so we did get the opportunity to hear what was on the tape. Bo Dallas says he gave his new family a purpose, and that they're so happy that you remembered them as being the glutton for punishment. Does not make abandonment hurt any less. Bo says the captives should be set free so that they need no master. Other than, first of all, I do want to say Bo is giving me Bray vibes.
Yeah, he's definitely coming into his own.
And additionally, I would actually like, given everything that I said, I would at least like to see something in the neighborhood of Gable versus Bo at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's certainly what it's set up to, and that would be a great match. And it brings some clarification to the whole idea of why they're attacking them. I mean, I think they mentioned it, but it seemed like, you developing this heel, but now you got them attacking. It doesn't really pan out very much. So you get them in together to have a great match, which I'm certainly they're capable of. And remember, it's professional wrestling. So after all the theatrics and circumstance, you want to be able to see what happens inside of those turnbuckles, right?
Oh, 100%.
I'd like to see more of Bo Dallas in the ring.
Well, because to your point, this is an image here, first of all, Bray vibes. Of him waiting for Adam Pearce. So I think we are going to get your wish. To some extent, right?
It wouldn't be a bad idea to have that at SummerSlam.
I'm going to be honest with you, dude. There's been 2 or 3 times that. Well, first of all, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. I've never stopped believing. Right, right.
But he is Bo Wyatt to me, dude. Like that. There's been 2 or 3 occasions where I thought that's what who I was looking at, rather.
Right,
And
right,
so
right, right.
I am with you that I think there is. He was in there to do what everyone else does, and
Hmm.
get something on the agenda.
Right.
So finally, you may see the opportunity, and
Yeah.
why was Chad?
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. Looking forward to it, actually.
So I'm all for it. Later in the evening, of course, we had Karrion Kross saying that the old guard is the enemy and must make way for the new guard. And Kross saying that Xavier Woods can make his own legacy and join the Final Testament,
Uh-huh.
or end up in the hospital with Kofi Kingston.
Ooh.
First of all, can we get this man a push? Can someone
Right. Instead of pushing them into a wall.
although honestly, the statement itself of make a legacy by joining our legacy could have been a little bit better.
Right.
But I think the new day is done.
Yeah. It is time. Right. And I think it's time. And it's not a bad thing, right? That faction, that idea, was as unlikely as it was when it came together in terms of its success, lasted far beyond the time that it was supposed to. And it was genuine. And you know what? Here's the thing: you let it go, so that way, some years later, you can miss it again. When they kind of, several years later, they come back. Maybe they do a surprise run at the 2030 Royal Rumble. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
Uh, but yeah, let it go. You know what I mean? Let those guys go on their own respective journeys, so that way we can actually celebrate it for it coming to an end. So that way we can celebrate what the new day was in their good times. Because right now it's lacking because I think it's past its time.
100%.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh no, completely with you. And Scarlett, honorable mention.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Speaking of honorable mention, Damage Control had beaten Lyra, Katana Chance, and Kaden Carter, but Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, and Zoe Stark then attacked them. Is this Horsewoman stable group?
I thought you was calling one of them a horsewoman.
No. I'm Report After Dark. I'm not going that way.
I mean, that's a fierce trio here.
Look, I think we talked about. I said a long time ago, feels like at least, that Shayna Baszler, make the move, make it work, right? That's why she's there.
Uh-huh.
But the momentum's kind of fallen since then. So, I think they both need a boost between Zoe Stark and Shayna, and so as far as this faction, I think it actually makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Well,
kind of gives me Shield vibes, huh?
yeah, that's what it is. Because I mean, the three of them, if they have each other's backs, like the Shield did, uh, then how do you beat that? What three? What three other competitors do I think of that can work as a unit to defeat them? Let's say we do a 6-man tag, right? I can pick three better wrestlers, but could I trust three better wrestlers to work in tandem? Can I pick Sky, Cargill, and Belair to work as a tandem better than the three of them? I don't know that.
I don't disagree. And to conclude tonight's Raw, of course, guess who's back?
What? What? Oh, I bet you the Alba household was upset. He probably done threw stuff at the screen. Do you have all your monitors in place?
Check this out. Take a look here.
Holy crap, mommy is back.
Dom was victorious with Liv. And
oh yeah.
Yep, naturally.
All right.
And just in time, mommy returned.
Wow.
That works. Yeah. So, what say you to that? That is how Raw ended this evening.
Well, so she came back. Like, how close is she ready to be back in action? Do you know? Like behind the scenes, like how close? Is she good?
I thought they could have saved this for just a week for that reason, because so we could get our custody of Dom match at SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that. Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
Right. So, yeah, but no, I do believe that it could have, again, I was surprised that she was back. I thought her versus Liv, SummerSlam. But it does make sense. Damien was talking to somebody on the phone earlier in the show, and that clearly was who it was. So I do feel like next week will be certainly entertaining because Dom was asking for a hug.
From whom?
From mommy.
Oh, I bet. I just bet he was.
Yeah. So, well, nevertheless,
Playboy with the stash. He gonna get caught up. He better listen to Usher.
Oh yeah. It again, just to cover the last two housekeeping things here. This is a official for SummerSlam. Priest versus Gunther, and then next week's Raw will have Drew McIntyre returning fresh off his suspension.
Yep.
Naturally, Priest and Gunther will have a face-off. No hockey sticks. Since
all right.
Canada.
Or no John Travolta, no Nicolas Cage either.
That's right. Zoe Stark versus Dakota Kai, and then Sheamus versus Big Bronson Reed.
All right.
Does this confirm no CM Punk next week?
No, it does not. Not in the least.
Also, why are we
Actually,
doing? Why
I
are
would
we
expect
calling
him
it
to be there.
indefinite suspensions if it's going to be for a week?
The NBA got away with doing that. They suspended Draymond indefinitely, but when the Raiders took a trash, he definitely got unsuspended.
Good point. Touche. Touche.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So no, if you say indefinitely, I would have to imagine. All right, then let's say like in the world of NBA, if he's indefinitely suspended, then it would be at some point an announcement of, hey, look, these are the things we need to see before you can return. You get what I'm saying? He can't just be, oh well, he back, or we just decided he back. Like, nah, show me what it would take for him to return.
Fair enough. Well, that concludes this evening's Raw. Gully, incredible show. Obviously, you're on the road. Any final thoughts from you on where we're headed in the coming days?
SummerSlam is so close. It's closer than people realize. Do you think? I don't know if it's clear how. I don't know if the matches are clear, and what I mean by that is you got some matches, but is it clear how big or how compelling these matches are supposed to be yet? I'm not sure. You get what I'm saying? And I like to
As
see that
far as
clarity.
who's go
Yeah, like as far as the why, like okay, this match is about to happen. All right, cool, but why? But why now? Why at SummerSlam? Does it make sense at SummerSlam? You get what I'm saying? I
interesting.
I don't know. Now, in the next week or two, we could probably find that out. But that's what I'm sort of missing here. Um, I am
What do
thoroughly
you need
each.
to see?
First of all, I need to see the card, see which matches are already booked. Is the card already put together?
Let's see if I can get
And
you
I'm not
that.
even talking about the dirt sheets.
You know what? We'll take our final 30-second break and we'll actually try to answer that.
What it do, sports fans? It's your man BSJ from the Shop Report. And guess what? The shop is now open for business, baby. If you're on Facebook, go to our fan page, The Shop Report, click on more, and then shop to view all products. Or if you're on Instagram, click on the shop tab to see all our products. I mean, what you want me to do? I'm selling merch here.
All right. So here's what we have so far. What I believe, at least, this is again after Money in the Bank. Again, we should have. Let's see. So the King and Queen winners have already earned a title shot. So the following two matches are set: the Women's Championship, which is Bayley versus Nia Jax. Then we have the Heavyweight Championship, again, which we shown a moment ago, which was Priest versus Gunther. 5 additional matches could fill out the card, which would be tag team titles of DIY versus the Street Profits. And then Logan Paul versus LA Knight. And then Liv Morgan versus Rhea. Punk versus Drew. And Cody versus Solo, which is what I thought it was going to be. That was my prediction last week. Does that
Remember
help
how
you?
I asked you earlier in the show? Name me a match for Intercontinental title or U.S. title that you would prefer to see in the main event over a
Do you
world
stand
champion?
corrected? Are we doing that right now?
Man, listen, this is what you got to understand about D Gully. I can stand corrected. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Is
What?
alive? This is really happening.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. If that's what you about to give me, yeah.
Whoa. So where's the Solo hate?
It's because, man, what has he done? What has Solo done solo?
He just pinned him. Well, Solo, I don't know about that.
See what I'm talking about? The man has such an his name is such an irony considering his trajectory in WWE so far. Everything about Solo Sikoa has been in tandem. It's been bloodline related. It's been part of a group, part of a faction, leading a faction, not standing on his own, which I'm not saying that he's incapable of doing that, but what I'm saying is who else who who else's career, kayfabe or real, work or shoot, has been defined by getting singles opportunities exclusively off of what they've done in tandem. Like Bret Hart, the Hart Foundation had to go before Bret Hart got it. The Rockers had to go before Shawn Michaels got it.
Randy Orton.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, he was part of Evolution when he got the IC title. Almost like immediately.
Okay. World Heavyweight title. WWE Championship. What faction was he in when he got those belts?
There's no way this goes to Solo. What are we doing with Cody Rhodes? Gosh darn
This is what
it.
I'm saying. Right, this should have been a program with LA Knight or with AJ Styles or back and forth.
So is the real main event LA Knight versus LA Knight versus Logan Paul? Not
Yes.
Solo versus Cody?
Absolutely. It's in Cleveland, Ohio. Yes, it is.
Oh, imagine that. I know a guy that was saying something like that.
If you gave me this trash, but see, I wouldn't give you that match. I wouldn't name Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa for a main event. I would not name that match as a main event. I would not put that. I would tell you, I don't care who you put in the US Championship or the Intercontinental Championship. If you let me get Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles, I'm beating whatever you give me. I wouldn't give you Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa.
But we've already had Cody versus AJ.
So what? I would do it again. Put a ladder in it. Put it in the cage. Give it a sell. I don't care. I would do that before I gave you this.
Give me the
I would
outcome
do
of
that.
this. Does Solo
Of what?
do you put Solo over?
He ain't about to win that belt.
Why not?
It's been fun, y'all, but we gotta run.
I love it, dude. I love it. This is where we are right now. Please, I remember Roman's title defenses in like I just brought up the 3-year run of Lesnar, and dude, something's got to go. Something's got to give. Why do we have the blender that we have for the heavyweight title? Is it just because like the imminent emergence of Roman, or I'm this part of it, like as good as that is, how did we end up with this?
Yeah, man, because like I said, they spent so much energy on this whole story narrative.
I love this.
And there was nothing that could there was and everything about was like it's suggesting the story is complete. I think that was the thought. And all of this here, man, all of this here is not thought of properly, not thought through. Why is he beefing with the bloodline? His beef, listen, the bloodline's beef is with each other. It is not with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes wanted that belt. Him having to go through the bloodline, he beat the best of the bloodline. It was The Rock and it was Roman and the direction that they took the bloodline. How is it Cody Rhodes is more involved with the bloodline than the dude that's part of the family?
Who's that? Jey Uso?
Yes. If
Well, I told you
anything,
it's the Why Yeet 6.
see,
He's got a new family now.
see,
There's your headline.
that's why we don't need to be doing these shows this damn late. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, barbershop.
The Chop Report after dark. He's gonna get the fine.
We don't Nah, man. Nah, man. Like, if anything, the program should have been because he actually needs it. If we're talking about, if we're going to shoot on this, Jay needs to work in having the matches, in having the matches, and being able to capture the audience and being able to sustain them and all. Jay need to work. The program need to be Cody and Jay because Jay needs more help. Because first of all, Jay's closer to actually being a believable champion, and Jay still needs to work. We've seen the WrestleMania match. Let's not go back through it. To go back through it again. Regrettably, to revisit that match was not. So he's closer to doing it. Let him get to work at having the main event. Let him run the program.
He's working with Dark Gable.
Right. Are either of those guys ready to be a WWE champion?
Look, I told you Jay has everything, but unfortunately what we saw at Mania.
That's what I'm saying. So why isn't he working with Cody to get it?
Who rivals Jade Cargill in Botches?
Who rivals Jade in Botches?
Priest.
Yeah. Right.
But even Tamaloa he botched with a dude. You had one thing in that whole match, and it was the below the belt hit, and you hit him between the cheeks.
Oh yeah. You talking about the low blow? He did it. He had to do it twice, right?
Right.
Did he botch the first one for real?
Yes, dude.
How do you botch that?
This is what I mean. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't know how many more siblings they have, but they keep coming. And I'm for that. I get it. I get where we're going to take that ultimately. But Cody and Randy Orton should have been your second to last match.
Right, exactly.
You could have built that storyline a lot easier. Like, I've been eyeing this title. Like an inevitable turn because Randy is always a heel.
Yes. You know what? He's always a heel, no matter no matter how much you absolutely right. Well stated. He's always a heel.
And so it would have been easier in that match for him to just go and RKO Cody and then Solo pin him. Solo gets to, have that notch on his belt, add some credibility to what he's done. Because as you pointed out, no different than like Cody's last two PLEs are Logan Paul for only his title, and which again would have made sense for Logan to lose it, even if it were temporary or temporarily.
Right.
So Cody could again close that chapter.
Right.
Especially if LA Knight said he was going to cash it in. Had he, like, there were a lot of different avenues that would have actually been like quick closes and allowed us to stay a little bit more streamlined with where we ultimately want to get to. And this is where if we wanted to call it the war aspect across the board, it becomes so chaotic. Again, this is where Bret Hart has ran out, and now he's going to town on somebody.
Right.
No one's really sure why.
So it's like, what am I going out there? He said, what am I going out there? Oh man, he said, what me go out there? What am I going out there for? Like, why am I going out there? Like,
I need to find. I'm almost positive there's a clip of that, and I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, wait a minute. What match was this? What event was this that he did this?
Hang on. I think it may have been either Who Killed. Yeah, it must have been Who Killed WCW.
Right. Oh, was he talking about Starcade?
I think so. I'm almost. It may have been.
What?
Dude, it was incredible. But I feel for Bischoff. That was so out of his hands and control.
Yeah.
Just that was why, unfortunately Ted Turner became, just kind of almost like he was I don't know. I hope I never experienced that, where it's like you have a corner office of a entity that you built, but him
and Vince, him and Vince are in the same position.
Yeah, but Vince at least the 3 million or billion. Sorry, 3 million. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So and Vince has a chance to get back in, right? Or Shane, someone, if they want to do that.
Which would be interesting if they did.
Right. So as far as Cody, though, I'm just kind of in closing for me, like, what are we doing? Why Solo? I understand the loss, but then have Randy's quick heel turn. Forget Solo, or you know what? This is what scares me, dude, because this becomes a real possibility. Okay, here comes all the cousins running out to, give them brass knuckles and.
Wait a minute, where's Jimmy?
Good question.
See what I'm saying? Like, where the heck is Jimmy Uso?
He'll be all elite.
Huh? That he could be right. Remember, even at WrestleMania there was Yeet versus no Yeet. What happened to Jimmy?
Well, there's no Yeet.
Right. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Like the bloodline got other things that they can do. I don't get it, bro. And that's what that's where the biggest question comes from. Like, I don't get it. I don't know that I'm ever going to get it, which is probably why we're not in creative control. But if we were, the next chapter in Cody, what I'm saying is, if we were, I feel like the bloodline can be built bigger. The guys that I don't think are ready right now can be ready if they were moving in different directions that would allow them to get ready and develop and grow, and then uh and then emerge. Like, do you remember how the Shield and the Wyatt family went after each other? Remember that 6-man tag all over the place?
Yeah.
Right? That can certainly happen. Like the bloodline could be destroying all the other factions. How about the bloodline be destroying Judgment Day or battling it out with the Judgment Day and going after tags? Final Testament, right? They could be doing that, developing themselves, getting better, getting stronger with the audience, while Cody has better quality matches, more championship defining reign matches than just him winning the title, which is what he has right now. That's his only marquee victory, is winning the belt. Every other match is one that you could have seen on Raw or SmackDown.
You're not hearing me say otherwise.
Yeah, so I
got nothing for it, dude. I got nothing for it. I really don't. Like, it terrifies me. But at the same time, my cynical side loves this, especially Shop Report After Dark. That here comes the bloodline, and then here comes Randy and Kevin. Randy RKO, right? And then he RKO's Cody, and then guess who your new champion is?
Exactly.
And Solo, and then in comes. Where should they were?
Hold on, we say I wish they were keep Zoe a caterer, or just use her at the live event because I don't want her on my TV.
Look, I mean, I guess not all pushes are created equally or needed, but you're not going to hear me argue that point.
She took that spot though.
She did.
Man, that was probably the biggest spot of the night. That was crazy. I swear I thought she really hurt herself. Like,
she probably did.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was supposed to remain solid.
Gotcha.
Like, it would have made sense if it would have helped kind of brace the fall a little bit.
Yeah.
But to his point, that could have been why. Instead, we get Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa. Dude, if Solo is your new champion, your final thoughts. Solo Sikoa, Universal Champion. How long? Can he hang on a second? Can Solo go on a run that, like, if you were to put him where Cody has been, just in this run?
Solo's run should be as fast as my run is eating Taco Bell at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh my. Oh, all right. And with that note, we of course are back Saturday. I will be live from Minneapolis. Gully will likely be back in either somewhere in the Midwest.
I'll be live back home, or if not, I'll be on location.
And we will be, of course, talking a few different sports topics that I happen. I could actually read these off to you now, as long as that's okay. I don't know if I'm breaking rules here. Let's see. Oh, we got Olympics. Okay, got some Olympics talk. Anthony Edwards on Team USA what our favorite events are, and of course yours as well. And of course, Paper Champions versus The Real Deal. How Steve Ballmer, of course, CEO of the former CEO of Microsoft, is okay with Kawhi playing after giving him 3 years, $150 million. Should his spot go to Kyrie, who should be removed and added to the roster? Which, again, for those that don't know, I actually put that in the Discord. So reasons to subscribe. Again, folks, that's done by way of Facebook. Costs $1. You get access to the Discord. I should change that price, so don't make me regret it. And I did point out that Team USA only beat the select teams by a point. So there you go. Looks like maybe they should make some changes. Zach Edey actually went off today, Team Canada. I believe he almost had a double-double in his limited minutes with his first Memphis Grizzlies start. So maybe it translates after all. But speaking of translating, hopefully, for Gully's sake, Solo Sikoa is not your Universal Champion.
Man, listen. Hopefully not. I would say this: if you're gonna put it on him, make it worthwhile. Give him the booking and the runs that you should have given to Cody to make the story of having that title make more sense.
Don't say that, because I was going to ask you, could Solo have remained champion? Look who Cody was going against, right? I brought up who his title defenses were because people were saying he wasn't.
Here's what happened. Here's the obvious. Solo wins the WWE Championship, and he has it for 2 months until Roman comes back. Then Roman, babyface Roman reconciles the Usos, and then they go talk to Thanos, The Rock, and they figure out which side of the bloodline he's going to recognize, and then they have a clash. That maybe sets up Survivor Series.
Well, and that's the thing. So the only way that becomes possible, right, is you have to give these guys that second stable, if you will, you have to put them over. You have to at least make them look the part, right? We can't have 98 degrees Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, correct. You're right about that.
You absolutely need him. Like I told you, Tamaloa, it looks, walks it and talks it. Obviously made some mistakes in the process, but Solo has to get over. And they as a group, yes, will be dominant. And it may be, I would hate to say, like you pointed out, he's never done anything truly individually, but some could say neither has Jimmy or Jay.
Correct.
How long did it
and they were.
So I mean,
they wasn't in the world title picture.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't in the world title picture, right? Having to develop their singles career, they wasn't doing it in the world title picture or in the WWE Championship picture. Could you do it in the United States Champion and a title championship position? Probably.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. It'll be interesting, though. I would be intrigued to see the pop.
Oh yeah.
Are we popping a whoopee cushion?
Yeah, pop. Yeah, you'll see something go pop, snap, crackle, pop. Right, Krispy treat. Man, we got to get out of here, man. Thank you all for tuning in with us so late.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you
we
all
appreciate
for being involved. Go ahead, Gully.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. Staying in, burning the midnight oil with us. Obviously, Wrestling. This shows how much professional wrestling has a base. It has something creative to bring about. Something that common in our culture. I, we look at other areas of the world today, we don't see that so much. So if you talk about guys hitting turnbuckles and doing splashes and whatnot, inside of a squared circle for our entertainment and it brings us together, then that's great. I appreciate it. I appreciate being part of that. Questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, critiques, all of those things, man. Find us on the channels, our Facebook, YouTube, our individual channels on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, X, MySpace, Black Planet.
All right. And again, we're back on Saturday with the sports topics, of course. And as always, if you really want to know what's going on,
walk-ins are always welcome. Holla.